making sure my hair and makeup look good. Very important episode. Hey guys, welcome back to Book It, and today I am so excited. I had to make sure I looked good for this episode in particular because this book that I'm reviewing has my heart. I think about it 24/7. I literally do not ever stop thinking about this book. And that book is Haunting Adeline. I know, I finished it a while ago. Everyone was wondering when I was going to review it because this book is the embodiment of me. I bought this book in Florida, run it back. Last summer, I bought this book when I went on a family vacation. I had gotten down to the beach like 6 hours before my family. I had just finished oh my God, I don't even know what book I was reading at the time. It wasn't important. I just finished a book. I literally, all my other books were packed in my suitcase, and because I flew, my suitcase was in my parents' car because they drove. So my parents' car was 6 hours away. I had 0 books. I was literally walking to the beach and I was like, what the hell am I going to do? So I decided to go into a Books A Million, something like that. I don't know. I didn't even care. Literally looked up books near me. Walked in and this book was sitting there and I bought it and it was $30. And I was like, and I literally didn't even look because there's no price tag on the back. There was no price tag anywhere. I literally bought it, walked out of the store, and then was like, what the hell? And in all honesty, I didn't even start it on that trip. I got to the beach, I read a page or two, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna take a nap instead. Took a nap, didn't even touch it. And then I went camping. And when I went camping, it was our last camping trip of the season, this past fall. It was in fall, November or so. And we were discussing books, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm gonna read. I have no idea what I'm going to read. And my friend was like, oh, she was reading Akatar, that series at the time. So she was like, I'm gonna bring that. And I was like, okay, I wanna bring this. Cause I was like, it's a big book. I'll get through it. It'll take me some time. I'll have to read it because it's the only book I'm gonna bring. Might I tell you, reading this in a hammock in the middle of the woods surrounded by nobody was probably the best experience of my life because it completely submerged me into this book of when she was he's looking through the trees. I was like, oh my God, I'm in the trees. Now, mind you, I will say, I finished this book. It took me 2 days to get through it. I finished it. I actually have a photo on my Instagram of me laying in my hammock and you see me this and you see the book, and my boyfriend took it because I wouldn't get out of the hammock. And so finally he was like, I'm just going to jump in with you. So he was laying on the other side and we're facing each other. And he was like, oh my God, can you stop reading? I'm trying to take a cute picture of you. And I was at a really good part. And I literally was like, no. And then I literally looked up and he took a photo and that was it. And in all honesty, probably one of my favorite photos of me ever because it just embodies of who I am. But we are going to be discussing Haunting Adeline today. Holy shit. I am going to say I am spoiling this book. 100% spoiling this book. Also, there are so many trigger warnings. I'm serious. The trigger warning page, I'm going to read them right now. So there is graphic violence, human trafficking, stalking, child sacrifice, mentions of child death, explicit sexual situations. Also, there are kinks like gunplay, somnophilia, bondage, degradation. Your mental health matters. First off, seeing that, immediately want to read more. All right. So people told me that I would love this book. A girl I work with was like, oh my God, have you read that book yet? And I was like, no. And she's like, you need to. And I was like, okay, got the first one. And I literally, if I could go back and reread a book for forever, it'd be this one. Okay, so we start by learning that the main character's name is Adeline. Obviously. And she, okay, she's a writer, and she moves, sorry, I lost my train of thought. She moves back to her hometown to live, we're in the house where her grandmother lived, and, the first night she realizes that the house is a little creepy. Her mom wants her to sell it. She decides that she loves it and she's gonna stay. She realizes that she's a stalker, And she doesn't really know anything about him, just that he like stands in the woods, and every time she calls the cops, they don't do anything because he hasn't came into her house. They can't find him. Like, she literally calls them, they show up, no one's there. She's like, what the heck, doesn't know what to do. So it's left at that. And then we learn about Z. So Z tracks down these like serial rapists and human traffickers and child sacrifice. There's a whole underweb of people and like the dark web basically. And in all honesty, he like goes and he kills them because, yeah. So like right off the bat, morally gray. Like he murders people, but like it's for a good reason. Because he learned that the government doesn't really do anything with the evidence that they get. So most of the time, these people are let go with either jail time, and if they're rich, they usually get like community service, and he doesn't like that, so he just murders them. So he has an entire organization called Z, where they're all a bunch of hackers. They all know what he's doing. I don't think that all of them know that he kills them, but like literally their job is to find these people, send him locations, and he's like, all right, I'll take it from here. And then basically he goes and he just blah, 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 all of them. He has like a little smaller team that knows exactly what's going on. Like his best friend knows exactly what's happening. But like the bigger organization doesn't know that he kills people. That's like his side business. Like they help him like set up people who are like, you know, going to go to court, going to go to jail, stuff like that. Like basically that's what they do. But like his side business is like really just like killing people. So he starts getting into her house and he leaves roses everywhere for her, which first off, Rose's favorite flower. White actually, I don't like red. And we know that he's like watching her and he's not very discreet about it. Every time she calls the cops, he disappears. They set up cameras in her home. They can't catch him. They don't know why. We learn on the back end that because he's a hacker, he hacks into her cameras and like literally changes it around. And basically they do the cat and mouse game, which is literally like this and the other one, Hunting Adeline, are the cat and mouse duo. So they play the cat and mouse game. I think it's funny because there's like one point where he's like, she gets all these cameras set up and she's like, I finally feel safer. And in reality, like it was his organization that set up the cameras. Like it was literally him. Like he set them up. So she kind of realizes that like, she doesn't know what to do, and it causes her like a lot of fear. Her best friend is also a hacker and works for an organization that hacks people. And we later find out that she actually works for Z's organization, but she just doesn't like, she knows it, but like she doesn't say it because she doesn't think it's like relevant to the situation. And I think it's funny because like he's her boss and she was trying to help as much as she can, like when her friend was like, he's hacking into the camera. She's like, let me try to see what I can do. And like in reality, like her boss and her were like going head to head in these like hacking competitions. And like, yeah, she's good, but he hired her. So like he's better. So Zayd has started to infiltrate this like society of people who basically sacrifice innocent children and like eat them. Yeah. And they're all like these creepy child predators, and he wants to go in and learn more about it, work his way up to like the really big people in charge, and then take them all out. One way he does this is he gets close with like a group of these like 4 senators, who are revealed like in a video of them sacrificing somebody, and he's like, I'm gonna go after them. So he goes undercover as Zach, and basically he's like trying to get close to them, trying to like, you know, get them to trust him, so that way he can kind of break down the organization from the inside out. And then kill everybody. But he has an issue when he pretends to be somebody that he's not. It kind of like turns around biting him in the ass because he like is, you know, out and about talking to the senator, and out of the corner of his eye he sees Adeline. And she's like sitting at a restaurant, she's working, whatever, and one of the senators like, oh, let's go over there and let's go have lunch over there. And he's like, no, like that's my girlfriend, I don't want to bother her. And he's like, oh, it's your girlfriend, like let's go say hi. So basically he ends up seeing Adeline face to face, and she's like, what the hell? And he's like, please go along with this. So like ends up like, he's like, oh, you guys should come to this thing. And he's like, maybe, we'll see. And the senator's like, Zach, you have to come to this thing. And so, like, it's so creepy. So, he ends up coming face-to-face with Adeline, like, right before the situation with Mark. So, that's the senator. So, before, he's undercover, but, like, before he's, like, hanging out with Mark, he goes face-to-face with her. They end up doing a lot of sexual things because in his past, he did not like when other men, like, came into her house. Like, there was, like, a time when she was hooking up with somebody, and literally, he kidnapped the guy, cut off his hands and sent them to her as a present, as like, no one else can touch you. Granted, this guy was like really bad of a person, but like, probably shouldn't do that. So they end up like, you know, having really big sexual tension in it. It's very interesting. But yeah, no. So this is when we go to the, like, a couple days later, he's undercover as Zach with Mark hanging out, and he sees Adeline in a restaurant reading her book, and he's trying to make sure that Mark doesn't see Adeline, because here's the thing about these people is that they're so messed up that they see like a girl and they're like, oh my god, she's the next one, like she's the one we're going to take. No, he is not having that. He is like, no, you're not doing that. Of course, Mark does see him and starts to like put like a mark on her, basically, where he's like, oh, I'm gonna like send this in, like send a photo of her to the society, and then basically the society's gonna come and kidnap her and they're gonna traffic her. And Z is like, yo, let's not do that. So he's like, yeah, it's my girlfriend. And he's like, oh, okay, Zach, you're a good kid, and kind of leaves it at that. But like, Mark has like underlying tones of like, okay, sure, buddy. So he realizes she has like a mark on him, like on her. And I think it's like that night or the next night, whatever, they decide to go to this haunted festival. Adeline and her bestie are like obsessed with this, like, it's called Satan's Affair, which is actually another book that H.D. Carlton has written. Satan's Affair, where it's an amusement park, but it's like all horror houses. It's a pop-up thing, you know, something like that. It's very important to these girls. They go to it every year. They love it. And she's like, no, I'm going to that tonight. And Z's like, well, I guess I gotta go too. So he decides to go, just, you know, because that's where all the sellers are going to be. All of the sellers and buyers are going to be at this amusement park, basically looking for people. And so he goes there and he's going to pretend that they're just out and about, you know, in reality, you know, whatever. So Z runs into this absolute insane character who ends up taking like 3 of these guys that are like sellers and like literally mentally unhinged. And we learn that this person goes town to town in this haunted festival and like murders people. And she's crazy and insane, because she says that the demons tell her which people are bad and which people are good, and she has to kill the bad ones. And this is when we meet Sibby. Sibby, in all honesty, if I ever became an actress, the only thing I would ever want to play would be like Sibby. Like, I like to think of her as like the Margot Robbie, like Harley Quinn. Like, she has like the 2 pigtails that are up. She's a little like crazy, and I love that, and I want that. I literally, if this was ever made into a movie, we would have to cast Margot Robbie as her, and we would have to make her like 10 times more batshit crazy than she was in The Joker, when she played Harley Quinn. So he, like, basically she's like, I'll take the guys over here and hold them until you get back, and Z's like, okay, sure. And she's like, okay, and like talks about like how she has these henchmen, and like literally like Z has not seen anybody, and she swears up and down she has 4 henchmen. They are psycho, just as crazy as her, and Z's like, yeah, dude, rock on. Like, the character is so well written. Like, in all honesty, H.D. Carlton is so, like, has such a fucked up mind. I love it. Like, how do you think of it? But the way that the character of Sibby is written was so good. And then I was so sad that she, like, left this book. But, like, spoiler, she comes in Hunting Adeline. So, like, we'll see her again. But, so while he's walking around this haunted house, he overhears Mark and the senator talking about how they basically are going to get a van ready. And they're going to take Adeline and Dea. So he leaves and he tries to go find Adeline, and it's one of those like insane houses, one of the insane house where everyone's talking, and basically he's like, you need to, like, it's one of those like mirrors, like it's like a house of mirrors basically. And okay, this is gonna sound like really effed up for people who are not in dark romance, but I already gave trigger warning, so it's fine. He literally tells her like, you're gonna run. You're going to try to hide, and if I catch you, we're doing it. Like, I'm going to fuck you. And, she's like, okay, tee, takes off, obviously he catches her, and they have this crazy intense scene in this house of mirrors, and it's like literally like takes like 2 hours. Like, it is a long scene. It is descriptive as hell. I don't even remember what color I think it's dark, so I think it's like back here maybe. I have no idea. All I do know is that, no, that's not even it. This is not the first time they've done it. They've done it multiple times before it, but this is like the really big scene that like draws a lot of people in. Right, yeah. Literally at 346. I think. Yeah. But this was a scene that like everyone kind of hopped on and was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So yeah, they bang for literally like 2 hours. At this point, the amusement park is closed. Dea is literally outside in her car waiting, and she's freaking out because she's trying to call Adeline, and Adeline's not answering, and she's like, oh my god, what's going on? And like everything, and after like how he like tells her to go straight home, he's like, I'll be right there, like literally don't leave your house, stay with Dea, blah blah blah. He goes back in and talks to Mark a little bit, who like kind of helps him get into a club, like that everyone's like going to sacrifice people, and like, you know, he kills them. And he kind of lets Sibby take the fall for it. She ends up getting arrested, and she goes to jail, and he disposes of the bodies. And it's kind of like left at that, of like Sibby goes to jail, and he's like, okay, cool, and moving on. And like that's kind of but Mark does tell him like, yes, you can get into these clubs, but like she already has a mark on her. Like it's already a done deal. She already has a mark. So he's like, whatever, I don't care. Stoic. And then Zayd and Addie have sex again, and they have a lot more sexual things. And at the same time, one night he shows up, and she's like, I just want to like lay with you. I don't want to have sex. And like she realizes like she's kind of scared of him, which is weird because like they were having like a lot of sex, but like she realizes like he does kind of like creep her out. And like I kind of like think of it as like Stockholm syndrome. Like she's literally been like railed so many times. She's like, I'm kind of scared, but do I love you? And it's like he has like a really, really bad day where he like loses somebody that's like really like he lost a kid, and it really was like messing with his mind. And like she takes care of him instead of like what they usually, because usually he would show up, they would do it, he would leave. Like literally like boom, boom, boom. Consistently. And then he shows up one day and he's like not in it. He's like, I lost a kid. This kid meant a lot to me, because like since he saves all these children, when he loses one, he takes it very, very hard. And like she ends up like comforting him in like a girlfriend way. Like no longer like a stalker, stalky. It's like a girlfriend, like how I would treat my significant other if they came home like I had a really bad day. So at the very beginning of the book, like literally the very beginning. Okay, well actually it's like maybe not. Actually, I might have lied. Because I'm like literally looking at this. Oh, right here. Important note, right next to the trigger warnings. This book ends on a cliffhanger. Okay? I read that. And I then read all these. I looked at it. I read it. So tell me why, when this book ends on a cliffhanger, I am shocked. I am beside myself. I am on the floor crying. I don't know what's going on. I literally think my life's a lie. I'm ready to throw myself into the fire pit at the campsite. Like, it says it in the book. This book ends on a cliffhanger. I'm not lying. Right here, first sentence. Yet, it ends on a cliffhanger, and Savannah is 30 seconds away from throwing herself down the cliff. I was gonna be hanging from a cliff. So, I didn't have the second book, mind you. I only had this one. I am in the wilderness. There is nothing around me. There is my car, there is my tent, there is my friend's tent, there are 2 hammocks and a fire pit with our 4 chairs around it. There is nothing. We have to go to the bathroom in the woods. If I forgot something, I'm driving 45 minutes into the nearest town to get basic necessities. I'm nowhere, right? There's no bookstore. I don't even have internet. I'm just sitting here. But this book, we get to the cliffhanger, okay? So I was like unprepared because I was like, oh, cliffhanger, okay, go on. Like, oh no, what happens next? No. Basically, Z goes to this party that Mark got him invited to. When he's there, he realizes that somebody set him up. He was set up for failure. Jay comes to save him. That's his best friend. The one of the guys that knows that he actually murders people. He's a great hacker from the inside. Whenever Z's in, Jay's in his ear. Like, they have earpieces that he wears, and he's like, yeah, blah, blah. Jay comes in to save him from the temple, where they're going to basically sacrifice these children because these people are demented. And Jay turns around and goes, you? Because he realizes that Zayd was set up. Literally, there's an explosion. People are like dying. And Z's like, oh my God, it's a setup, it's a setup, it's a setup. I was set up. Z's laying on the floor. Jay, first off, not athletic, literally sits behind a computer 99% of the time, comes running in to save his best friend because he's like, no, that's my boy. That's my home skillet. I'm not letting him die. For him to get in there, trying to get Z up, Zayd's not moving. And then he turns around and goes, you? Wish I could tell you more. There's no more than that. At the same time we see this, right? It cuts away from Z. We're back to Adeline. And I'm like, okay, it's going to go Adeline and then back to Z. So we're going to know what's going to happen, right? No. At the same time that this was being taken, like, that we see this, whatever, these people who work for Max, literally, somebody hits Adeline's car flips, she basically gets kidnapped at the very end. And, like, nobody knows what's going on because she's literally laying, like, her car's on the side of the road. She's in the back of some van. She hears people talking. That's it. Thanks for having my TED Talk. That's it. End of the book. Now do you know why I was ready to throw myself in a fire? Because I was like, even if I can get to the closest Walmart, which is an hour and 25 minutes away, they're not going to have Hunting Adeline, are they? Because on their website, it says they don't have it. And I looked, the minute we left the campsite, I was on my phone looking for the fastest way to get Hunting Adeline to my house. I was. You can ask my boyfriend, you can ask my best friend, you can ask my best friend's boyfriend. We were literally sitting there, and I'm sitting at the campsite like this. And they're like, what's going on? Are you okay? Mind you, Savannah's not really religious, yet I am praying to a God that somebody, somewhere, drops the book on my lap while I'm sitting there. Because at this point, it's Saturday night. We're not leaving till Sunday night. We go to bed. First off, I go to bed, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm frustrated because I just want to know what happens. I want to know who you is. I want to know who took her. I want to know where she's going. I want to know if he knows. I want to know what happened to Daya. I want someone to tell me if Zayd's okay. Is the child okay that he was trying to save? Is freaking Jay okay? What's going on? Who's the person? Yet I can't do anything. I'm just sitting there in my tent, about to cry at this point. I was literally on the verge of tears because there was nothing I could do. And my poor bestie's like, do you want to read A Court of Mist and Fury? And I'm like, no, I don't want to read that. I want to read the next book. I'm not gonna lie. I Amazon Primed it. I got home Sunday. The book was on my door by Monday at 7 a.m. And I woke up Monday at 7 a.m. and started reading it. It was a rough 24 hours, but I did it. Cost me like an extra $50. Totally worth it. This book. I love this book. Overall, this book is extremely, extremely dark. Probably the darkest romance book I've ever read. Well, until I read this one. But darkest series I've ever read, right? I was prepared going in at the very beginning. I was totally prepared for it. When they give you a heads up, H.D. Carlton tells you, hey, serious. As somebody who, like, has any issues on the first page, like, hey, just so you're aware, this is what's going to happen. And she's like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm telling you in detail what happens because it's for the storyline. Okay. There's no subject that's glossed over. and I respect that. She goes into every subject. She writes with so much passion. You can tell that this was a book that she just had like some fever dream and wrote it down, and it was amazing and beautiful. And I'm not gonna lie, this book, in all honesty, will forever sit on probably the best books I've ever read. 1000%, hands down. I love this book. I understand that it is literally February, but this is probably my book of the year. I would not be shocked, because every other book that I have read has not matched up to this level of just pure, I'm like at a loss for words. This book is so amazing. So amazing. I understand if you can't read it, if there's like, you know, there's some things that trigger you like mental health. If you can't read this book, do not read it. Please do not read it. Do not put yourself through that. But if you can, if you mentally can do it and you even are interested, this is literally the greatest book. I have never loved a book more. I literally talk about this book. I dream about this book. I do nothing but sit here and think about it. She has the new one coming out, Where's Molly? I'm already on the pre-order list. I've already signed up for everything. I literally love this book more than I loved that book right there, The Grace Year. More than I loved that book. And I loved The Grace Year, right? I loved this more. And that is saying a lot. This is my favorite book. Literally will put it on a pedestal until I die. And in all honesty, I didn't even know who H.D. Carlton was at first. I will say that. I'll be honest. I didn't know who she was. I read this. I read her other stuff. Immediately, #1 fan. That woman can do no wrong in my eyes. In all honesty, she can do no wrong. She murders someone. Oh well, they probably deserved it. I will defend her till the day she dies. If she has 1 fan, it's me. If she has 0, I'm dead. I'm in a ditch. I will forever stand on that. And with that being said, this book is a 5 out of 5, with the smut being a 5 out of fucking 5. This book is amazing. Literally the best book. You can't tell me no. Can't tell me. Sorry. I won't listen. Won't hear it. This is the best book. That's it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is a literally like 30-minute long video. But yes, in all honesty, this book is amazing. My heart, H.D. Carlton, love you. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and upload this on my Goodreads. I know that my best friend's been waiting for it. I told her I was gonna film this video today, and she was like, "I'll be looking," because she's at school. So she's like, "I'll be looking for when you post." And I was like, "Okay." So, yeah, in all honesty, make sure you follow my Goodreads, because that's where I post like all of like my overall like thoughts and stuff like that. I can really like show you what I'm working on, and also like what videos are coming soon. It kind of gives you like a heads up of what videos are coming, because I post these and then I make the video, post these, and then the video comes out. So basically it's like a little like boom, boom, boom. But yes, no. Haunting Adeline, beautiful, amazing, mwah, masterpiece, 5 out of 5, smuts 5 out of 5. Make sure you follow my Instagram and my YouTube. Like and subscribe. Literally helps me so much more. If you're an H.D. Carlton stan like me, you should be following, because I am forever going to talk about this woman and how much I love her, and how I would literally name my firstborn child after her for an advanced reader copy of anything. And I told her that when she had her thing, she was on her Instagram, she was like, "Hey, slide up and like tell me what you're excited about the new book." And I literally slid up on her story and said, "I will give you my firstborn child for an advanced reader copy." And you think I'm joking? Nope, I'm not joking. Sorry, little child, but no. She's amazing. Definitely give her a follow as well. But yeah, that's it for this video. Please make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to be filming a couple more videos today. This one's going to take a while to edit, just because it's so long, but I bet Hunting Adeline is going to be 10 times longer. So, thank you so much, and until next time, bye!